Hello. Today, I'm just sort of tuning in, and I just came outside to take a little walk around the land that I'm staying on. I did take a little video that I will insert in the beginning so you can just see a clip of it. And surrounded by some palm trees with fruit. And I'm noticing something. I've been here for off and on for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And I didn't even notice there was like a little walkway with like stones and gravel. It's really pretty, like little rocks. So I'm going to walk through that while I record this. It's not very big, but I'm also drinking an iced coffee drink that I just made, and I'm going to insert a photo because I was just recording for Patreon. I recorded from the last YouTube transmission, emotional support integration. I was guided to do a more meditative type of transmission, an activation of sorts. So I just uploaded that on Patreon, if that's something that interests you. But I remembered a portion of my dream that came through, and in the dream I wanted to make, I go into more detail about the dream on the Overflow Patreon, so I'm not going to do that here, but I will share a little bit that I was in some sort of realm, like an etheric sort of realm that was still physical, though. Like it was like a less dense aspect of Earth, essentially. And oh, you know what? I meant to talk about a portion of this in the Overflow, and I did not, so I will share it here. Oh, a bird just came to visit. You might hear. It's a blackbird. I always confuse crows and ravens, and gackles or grackles. It's one of those, I think. Some of you may be tapping into the Magdalene frequency right now. I heard the word witch, the phrase witch era, so some of you could be tapping into that as well. I'm also hearing like mysterium, magic, emporium. Okay. So, through this, back to the dream, I was trying to make a coffee drink in my dream that was sort of like reminiscent of like a tiramisu type of thing, or something like sweet and creamy, but also like intense, kind of like tiramisu. Anyway, so when I made this coffee, I made it differently than I've been making it while I've been here at the residency. A yellow butterfly is flying around me. It's like one of those moth butterflies. I never know which one it is, but it's like bright yellow. Anyway, so I made it iced. I've been making it blended, but today I made it iced, and it looked like the bottom was like a thick layer of creamy milk, and then it was like 3 different colors. And in my dream, that's like what I was trying to do, and I really didn't even plan this, and I didn't realize. So I just took a photo because that feels very synchronistic. And in the dream, I did mention this in the Overflow, I found I wanted caramel, which is really strange because I don't usually love caramel, but I wanted it in the dream for some reason. And I found a homemade caramel in my friend's place. She had like a really interesting apartment with glass windows in this. Again, I describe it in more detail in the Overflow, but this place was like on rolling hills, and it was very light and clear, like lots of flowers. The air felt different, like it was yeah, like very mountainous, but like, again, the word clear keeps coming through, and like light air. And just like the feeling of lightness. And when I found her caramel, it was labeled spicy caramel. And I was like, whoa. So I was talking about this in more detail. But anyway, like balancing the, like reharmonizing. And so the aspect that came through the dream that I'm remembering now, there was instant manifestation. So like, and conjuring, so like people could, conjure. Of course, when we talk about these aspects of ability, right, it's like different phases of evolution in consciousness. So not necessarily like a space-time location, but like point of consciousness. But also these like etheric templates and etheric places we can tap into. And so, yeah, in this specific dream, when I was visiting different locations, something instantly conjured. And I was like, oh. And I've had dreams like this before where I'm like, of course I remember that that's possible. But then when I tried to recreate it, it wasn't happening. And so in the dream, I was sort of like, okay, well, I know it's possible. And I was trying not to like harp on it. So this could be like a collective energy for sure. It feels like it. I just needed to take a pause for a moment. I'm being taken to invisibility and then visibility. Right? And then again, like sweet and spicy. Hot and cold. There's something about, which also came through the overflow on Patreon, like the fullness, like experiencing the fullness of a spectrum or spectrums. Oh, I'm being taken to the cosmic color code. That hasn't come through in quite a bit. I used to talk a little bit more about this phrase that kept coming through. And then, as we reactivate parts of our dormant DNA, the word codex has been coming through really strongly. Codices, sharpening our senses. Some of you may have been experiencing this for a long time. Some of you, maybe it's just coming online. It's like we unlock these. For me, it comes through as more color spectrum, or so like when I see colors all around me and I've tested this out with people and they think I'm so crazy, which is so fine, but some of you may be going through this too, where it's kind of like if you've ever seen like a mushroom trip or some sort of psychedelic trip depicted, when people start to see all kinds of shapes and colors, right? We're activating our own inner DMT or dimethyltryptamine and decalcifying the pineal, and of course doing it in a way hopefully that's anchored and through phases, so we don't like blow our systems out. But yeah, so you may be going through expansive color spectrum frequencies, whether you see it with your eyes closed in dreams, your eyes open, maybe through auras, some of it, none of it, all of it. Feel free to like share any like personal experiences. I could go on for quite a bit. Maybe I'll tap more into this in the overflow, because there's so many ways that this can manifest for us, Okay. I'm being shown windmills for some reason. Windmills. Yeah, a lot of electrolysis. the water element, the air element. Ramping up the way that we hydrate. So that's been coming through in different ways for a long time through this channel, like, you know, remineralization, maybe being drawn to eating more fruits and veggies. This was also coming through, and like getting your nutrition and hydration more through like whole foods. It feels like there's a call for alkalinity for a lot of us to step more into that. And if you're already doing this, then it's just a confirmation, and maybe like people are really interested and like asking questions. And that's not to say, again, it's like that balance. It's not to say not to, you know, everyone knows their own body and what phase they're at. So there's something also like about integrating phases and like honoring the phase that you're in. So you may feel called, like, I don't know, a month or two ago, I felt really called to intermittent fasting, but not like I do it now sporadically. Like I go through phases, but it was like, I think 8 days or 7 days where I was like, I need to do this every day. I just felt that, and I did. But then after that, I didn't feel the need to do it as much. And then there's other phases, you know, maybe you're called, there's something about honoring the cycles and the phases you're in. And because there's like a quick moving, almost like sporadic type of, I know the Schumann resonance has been those people who are amazing and like are good at like sharing the clips of it. I always mean to do that, but I do feel things, and then they always confirm through. So I'm so grateful to those who are sharing that more specifically. But where I am in Costa Rica from when I'm recording this, today is 7/7 actually. So if anyone wants to tune into the number 77 or 777 and share anything that comes through, feel free. I'm seeing Shekinah. And a lot of this like Edenic, I don't know if that's a word, but that's what I keep hearing, or like Paradiso energy of like, you know, creating our own versions and memories of heaven on earth. I just got bit by an ant, so it's really funny that I say that, as I'm still getting bit by ants as I speak, and they're quite painful. Yeah, something about like the very classical Mean Girls reference. I feel like this comes through quite a bit. Oh God, they're really singing right now. I just heard switch location, so I'm gonna pause and I will be back. But you probably will not feel it. I took a pause for about a day or two. I am now recording at a waterfall. I took a little video of the setting so that I can insert it and show you guys if you want to see. So I remember I left off because I was getting stung multiple times by these ants over and over again. Allergies. Someone may be experiencing allergies or have like severe allergies. That won't be for everyone, but yeah, that's coming through. Okay, so I took a few notes over the last day or so, and I want to just, oh yeah, so when I'm recording this the night before, multiple people woke up at around 3 a.m. So whenever you're finding this, you may be like getting woken up in some way, you know, what they call the witching hour, from like 2 to 4 a.m. ish. More specifically 3 a.m., but somewhere in that vicinity. And it's interesting because I wrote call, like 3 a.m. call. So for very few of you, it could be literally like being woken up by a phone call, or, you know, some sort of more like etheric call. Some of you could be hearing like whistling tones, ear pressure shifting, yeah, things of this nature. I just was a little bit silent because I wanted to tune in to see if there was like any specific reason of waking up. I just felt something in my throat when I said that, particularly on the right side of the throat. So I heard the phrase wake up call, like a wake up call. It doesn't necessarily have to, like sometimes like I feel like that can have like more of a connotation of like, you know, that you're not paying attention, or something of this nature. For some of you, that might be like something or someone or whatever you're connecting with is trying to get your attention. But for some of you, it could also be like some sort of integration where you're like waking up. It's taking me a moment for this message to really like filter in. And it's funny because I almost lost my footing on this rock. It's a bit slippery. So it's sort of like you are getting woken up because you know when you like slip into the hypnagogic state, like the place between waking and sleeping, like Peter Pan, like Never Land. What does he say? Like meet me in the place between or something like that. So it's like to get you in that space that when you do start to fall back to sleep, there's like some sort of like vivid experience to help you encapsulate, remember some sort of message that's coming through, which may be more specific for each of you. And even if you don't like 100% remember, there's still a higher chance that throughout your day, you know, whether it's a day later, that day, within that week, month, there will be like a little snapshot that kind of comes through for you. I'm hearing a song, there's a band like from when I was growing up, Filter. I think the band's name was Filter. Something about like camera. I can't remember, but I'm seeing that. Yeah, so there's some sort of like snapshot that is coming through. I mean, photography could be like present or relevant for some of you, but okay, what else is coming through? Yesterday I was not that I know of anyway, around anyone who smokes. Like I'm in a jungle right now and there's like not that many people around, but I kept smelling cigarettes like for maybe like a minute or two. The smell of cigarettes was coming through really strongly. For a few of you, it may be like someone who has transitioned out of the earth plane who smokes cigarettes, who's like coming through. For some of you, yeah, I'm seeing like Coke bottle glasses, you know, those like really thick frame that they used to wear back in the day, and like someone with a cigarette in their hand. Yeah, that won't be for everyone. That might just be for one or two people, but I'm seeing the initials RO and BG. And I heard the name Muriel, or like something, Meryl, something of that nature. Anyway, Marilyn, but okay, it's something like to the effect of, you know, like when older generations will say like back in my day, and you know, like I feel like I'm considered, I think, a millennial. So like my generation, there's something about generations and like, you know, okay, when someone has a child and normally like the first child, it's like, oh my God, like make sure, you know, you Purell and wash your hands. Like so many people, I've never had children in this lifetime anyway. So I'm not speaking from personal experience, just from observation, but it's like when someone has a child and they're like, you know, the first child, it's just like so much, you know, preparing and like anxiousness and like make sure, you know, because it's the first time. But then by like the second or third kid, it's like, oh my God, are they even here? Like, you know, like there's such a, generally, I'm not speaking for everyone, like a vast difference. So there's something about that, like generationally speaking, like an ancestor is coming through to like, for someone. This sounds harsh. I'm going to tell you what I'm hearing just because it's coming from their vernacular and like their lens, but I don't mean it in any sort of way of telling anyone what to do. But it's like, lighten up. Like I'm hearing like a lighten up, kid. Even if you're like 50, it doesn't matter. There's something about that. Yeah. Like, and even if it's not that literally like being translated, there's something about maybe you're stepping into a place in your life where you can lighten up, you know? Because I really do feel like a lot of us go through these evolutions. Like they say the sign of Capricorn in astrology is very like serious in the younger years, and as you get older they lighten up a lot. So you don't have to identify as Capricorn, but it's just that archetype of like going through a very serious phases, and then coming into a more lighter version of yourself. And that's not to say that those other aspects weren't necessary, because they absolutely were. And I just want to like take a moment to honor that. So yeah, very interesting. I was not expecting that. Of course, I'm on this land with the waterfall, and I'm seeing so many beautiful light codes, and we saw this like blue morpho butterfly. So there's just something about this like wild fae energy. That could be for some of you. Yesterday I went to a yoga setting in this place called Salvetica. I know I'm saying that wrong. Something. Anyway, it's so beautiful, and the word actually translates to wild. So this energy of wild, you know, as in like natural, the nature's wild aspects of like human and water, animals, you know, all these different. A couple years ago, I remember I was sort of in a phase of my life where I was pretty domesticated. Like, you know, I was inside a lot. I was always on my computer working. And I kept, when I first got into like Oracle, I kept getting a message like, you're so domesticated, like it's time to get back to your wild roots. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? So some of you may be entering that phase where it's like, maybe you're going for walks and you're more daring and you like eat an herb right off the vine, you know, or like always be careful, please, and make sure you know, like, you know what you're doing in some respects. But yeah, there's some, or go with someone who knows what they're doing and then learn from them. But there's something about that, like, you know, going outside to a waterfall and putting your feet right in the water and just like sunbathing for a few moments. Like, those are just a few examples. Some of you may already be very deep into this, and you may be like starting to guide others, or if you're already guiding others, there may be like an expansion or like a documentation or something of that nature. Okay, let's see. Okay. You may be seeing 1s and 3s, repeating like 1s, 3s, or 3113, 1331. I had a dream the other night that I was a spacefaring being. You know how we have like seafarers? I was spacefaring. So some of you could have this like cosmic consciousness induction is the phrase I'm hearing. And I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm going to let that phrase sit for a moment. You may be seeing 7s, repeating 7s as well. Okay, so I was talking about a dream. Oh my God, wait, hold on. There's like 3 different things I'm seeing. Oh yeah, lower spine tightness or lower back. That may be coming through for some of you. There's like, I just saw the word emulsification or emulsifier, where there also could feel almost like a calcification in the lower spine for some of you. So yeah, chiropractic work could be relevant, stretching, yoga, whatever it is that helps you. Honestly, sometimes I like to just lay on a couch backwards and like let my back hang and arch, and that helps so much. But yeah, of course, whatever works for you. Wow, it's 12 o'clock on the dot right now. Yeah, clock strikes 12, new beginnings. But also, like, no Cinderella, it's 12 p.m., not a.m., but, like, there's something about this storyline of, like, getting glimpses of things, kind of like in Cinderella when, her fairy godmother turns her into, as I'm saying this, I'm watching a leaf fall, turns into the princess version of herself, and then when the clock strikes 12, it all kind of disappears. So there's something about this sort of storyline that is presenting itself as, like, you might feel like you're having, like, glimpses of, whether you're manifesting, like, some people call it, like, your dream life, that's very big right now, or your highest divine timeline, and then it might feel like it slips away, like in the strike of the clock, and then, or some of you may be having visions, something like this. I'm seeing someone with, like, a walking stick, so it's like enjoying the walk, even if it's a bit treacherous along the way, taking your time, going on detours, but just continuing to follow those nuggets and follow the nuggets and hold those visions. That was just like a little cheerleader moment for someone who may need it. And I just saw 3:45 on the clock, so excuse me. Actually, to get down here where I am, there was like a little bit, there was apparently like a steps or a bridge or something to get down, but it sort of got washed away apparently. So I've never been here before, but the guy who was taking us through was saying that, like, it's washed away. So some of the people went back up, and something told me, like, just to come down here, even though I got a little bit more dirty than I had planned. But yeah, so there's something about that too. Sometimes taking, like, the little road less traveled, even if it's a little bit more challenging. Always trust yourself, of course. But okay, so I was talking about a dream that I had with the spicy caramel, and when I recorded that, what was it, like 2 days ago, I said something of that effect of time. And yesterday, like mind you, again, I'm in the jungle, I'm not, like, going to the store very often, I'm with a few people, and the person who is, like, running the residency that I'm staying at, all of a sudden she just, like, and she had, like, this is the first time, like, I've been here for almost a month, and, like, she's never done this, and she was like, oh, here, split this with me. And it was like this little caramel ice cream cup, and I had just made, like, a blended coffee, like a creamy coffee, and in my dream I was literally trying to make a, like, blended coffee creamy caramel drink. And so I took some and put it in my coffee and stirred it, and it made this, like, I should have taken a picture, it was so beautiful. And it was, like, literally, like, in the dream I was like, oh, my instant manifestation isn't working, but then, like, a day later I didn't even plan this at all, and it just showed up. So there's something about that, like, the way we connect to what is instant manifestation in different forms it can come through. And the word instant, I mean, that was like a day or two difference, but, like, are you ready? Okay, I have to go, I'm gonna pause. Okay, so I was speaking on, like, the phrase instant manifestation because that's how it came through in my dream. And when I was driving, well, I wasn't driving, I was in the car after recording that yesterday, and I was feeling into that phrase and how off and on since I was, like, a child, I would have these, like, feelings or memories or knowings of, like, and I'm sure a lot of you have too, of, like, being able to, like, instantly conjure something or walk through a wall, like, having, like, a different memory of, or a memory of a different type of physics, essentially, like, things not being as maybe what we would deem as slow or dense. And it would cause, like, frustrations, and I would, like, think I was crazy, all these different things. So in these dreams, where I am able to do these things, and then, of course, over time, like, aligning my focus to collapsing more dense programming and allowing for a perhaps maybe less delayed it's like a response time. Like my feedback loop, I guess you could say, is there's less density to go through, so it's shows up quicker. And I was talking about this caramel dream, right? And then it showing up like a day or two later, completely unplanned. And like, it's funny because I don't usually even like caramel, and like things lately I've been craving or wanting to experience it for a long time. I like had zero desire to do. So even that is a part of it too. Like a few years ago, I've never wanted to eat caramel. Like, I don't know. And now I'm like, ooh, caramel coffee sounds so good. So yeah, it's like, the portion of this, of why we choose to experience, you know, on a soul level, to come into a more, what a lot of us call like disconnected, right? You're disconnected from your inner knowing and what some people are calling magic, or multidimensional aspects. And it's sort of like, I don't know, I keep being shown Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, or what's the other one with Elizabeth Montgomery, Bewitched, when she like chooses, like, you know, to marry a human mortal man, mortal, and does, like, she could just snap her fingers and have the dishes done, but she like chooses to do things from a more human-like experience. So there's something about like on a soul level going in and like, yeah, like what we can learn by actually showing up and doing things, like the mundane, methodical, trusting the I guess gratitude maybe is a word that's coming through, that comes with some of these experiences. I'm trying to remember what else I was feeling, because there was more about like why some of the maybe soul experiences that we come into kind of integrate a challenge. Yeah, there's different things. If anyone here has like thought about this or is thinking about it now and wants to share, feel free to do that, because I'd love to hear. And there's also, like, you know, the element of surprise and restoration of like faith and intuition, and it's like showing up in this way, you know, like when I've had some experiences where things may feel delayed, you know, and I'm like, instead of getting frustrated, or which does happen, by the way, I take that and I'm like, okay, like it's like redirecting focus, and also trusting timing is such an important element too. Like the last thing I would like to see is someone get so discouraged because, you know, something isn't happening right away. And I think that's also a big part of like, you know, materialism and anthroposophy, like Ahrimanism, when it's like heavy trenched in materialism. Like if something, our desire doesn't come to fruition right away, it's like we can doubt ourselves, doubt the process, and then there's some sort of like magic and growth when we can hold our own vision and maybe let go of how it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, but like just trust the whole experience, you know. And you may have heard this a million times, but there is something about that, like really detaching from some of these things. And I had this amazing conversation the other day with someone I'm staying with in the artist residency, and we were talking about like whatever you want to call it. I call it the divine will, maybe, where you like kind of surrender. So there's different, also from what I understand and have studied, like different, if you want to call it levels or thresholds of co-creation with reality, you know, and it comes in waves in different you know, like speed or power, depending on what's going on. So, and you may like go through like these different cycles where maybe you're meant to spend more time alone, so things may feel delayed, but there's a call to focus on something else. So when you surrender the micromanagement aspect and allow for that divine will, like I always say, for the greatest good. So if something isn't coming in, I'm at the point now where I've realized, like, okay, there's probably good reason for that, and not to try and force it or push it. Now, there's also a call, like I've been really called the last few years to be more imaginative and sort of hermity in ways. And now I feel like I'm entering a cycle where I'm being called to be a bit more like action-oriented and being visible, even though that's very hard for me. So yeah, it's like also trusting these inner cycles too, and like what you're being called to focus on. I think I'm going to wrap up this transmission, and thank you so much. Yeah, and if anyone like wants to go deeper with any of these topics, let me know, and I can certainly pinpoint in on that, because there is so much more to say. But yeah, I was just kind of feeling a natural stopping point. So thank you.